First of all, thank you for the warning for the extremely emotional video that was going to be played right before I had to come up and speak. I already told myself I wasn't going to look over at Wayne at the table because I knew he was going to be crying, but I had not quite anticipated that. But no, I'm so honored to be accepting this award on behalf of my grandfather. He was a fantastic coach. I've lived his career over again through his golfers that are here, and it means so much to me that the Athletics Association is recognizing him like this, so thank you. Thanks to Fred Glass. I can't say that not a whole lot's more humbling than to receive a voicemail on your phone from Fred Glass and assume that you know what it means. And I think Paul Williams was in Canada about to have a heart attack waiting on confirmation that he was going to be inducted this year. So thank you so much, Fred. I have to also thank Carl Zacher. Carl, wherever you are, you have made this possible. I can't say enough good things about Carl. You feel like you are the only person that is his responsibility. Absolutely. I know that he has 100,000 other things going on, but he has really brought all of the guys together and made this, what I hear is an incredible packet for the Hall of Fame nomination that I have yet to see. But Carl, thank you so much for everything that you've done. And Mary Jo Philhauer, too, to putting this amazing event together. I know we squeezed some guys in last minute, so thank you so much, and I apologize for that, but we really do appreciate it. And as Don so well put, and you can read in the program that my grandfather had many, many accomplishments that can be listed on a piece of paper, but I think the story here is the relationship that he had with his golfers, and that was truly, truly special, and he certainly would have never bragged on anything that he ever did, so thank you to those of you who have shared your stories with me on things that he would have just kept to himself. So he was an incredible student, coach, athlete, and innovator. I mean, he was one of the smartest people that I have ever known and most likely will ever know. So I can't tell you how much it means to me that all of these guys are here appreciating him. You can see through them how much he meant to them, how important he was in their lives, and how he coached them and guided them to be not only student athletes, but great people. We have a really great group of guys among us that are well established and are very successful and have made an effort to come back here and honor my grandfather, and that means more than words can express to me and my family. So I thank you guys so much for that. Those of you that wrote letters and pushed other people to write letters and put the pressure on making this nomination happen, I certainly appreciate it. I also have to, a couple stories that I promised the guys I would tell. Amos Hayes, wherever you are, Amos, he gave me this great letter today while I was at the golf course, and I promised him that I would read it, so I will apologize for reading it. I've only read it over once, so I'm going to read the words that he wrote here. He said, "I wish all of you had gotten to know Bob Fitch. I had the pleasure of working with him for over 20 years as a starter at IU golf meets. And just so you know, he still does that at the Fitch Cup now. We play, I haven't tournament the last 3 years, and it would not be quite the same when everybody tees off if Amos were not there." He said, "He would be a little gruff at times and wasn't always the most tactful, but deep down he was a great guy and a self-made man. He came to IU as a football man, played for Minnesota. Just ask George Talafero what kind of football player he was. Of all the Big Ten players George faced, Fitch was one he wanted no part of. George will tell you he would rather go around the other end than have to run into Fitch." With a background in football, Bob took over the IU golf program, which hadn't gone anywhere before, and guided it to all those Big Ten titles and NCAA appearances. And he did it with very little financial help. In those days, golf wasn't high on the list for scholarships and recruiting money. Bob financed his own recruiting trips out of his own pocket. He made himself into a golf coach by just plain hard work. He would be on the job from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., almost around the clock. He became a very good teacher with both the men's and women's teams. He was very big on teaching them how to keep their heads still during the golf swing. As a player, Bob earned his PGA card entirely on his own. He was one of the strongest men I ever saw. I once saw him take a 7-iron out on a 200-yard par 3 and hit the green with ease, using his right hand as a strong hand, something you don't see very often. You could go on all night about Bob Fitch stories, but the bottom line is he was a great guy, not only for what he did for Indiana University, but just to be around. Those who knew really grew to like him, and I was one of them. It was a privilege to know you, Bob. Amos Hayes. So thank you, Amos. And I have just one other story to tell. I've gotten, like I said, a lot of stories from these guys over the last few years about my grandfather and interactions that they had with him. And I asked a few of them to send me an email and you tell me things that they thought were pertinent or that the people would enjoy hearing about Coach. And one thing that stands out is that he basically would call you whatever he felt like he wanted your name to be. And I know this because I think him and Spider Miller are the only people that I've ever let call me Jesse. So, but Robbie Dew shared this story with me, and he came to school here. Wayne recruited him. He hadn't met my grandfather yet, and he traveled overnight to be here, and he met my grandfather for breakfast. And funny, he asked the hostess, was Coach Fitch here yet? And she said, "You see that cloud of smoke over there? That's him." And he was quite an avid smoker. So, and I think Robbie was a little surprised by that. So he walked over and Coach introduced himself and kind of, he said, unfortunately, and now Robbie's thinking, oh, I'm getting cut. There's no scholarship. Something's happened. I've just traveled all the way here from Canada, and now I'm going to get sent packing. And instead, he tells him, we already have a Robbie on the team, so I'm going to call you Bob. And Robbie said, no one in my life has ever called me Bob. But from then on, people did. I don't think his parents were very pleased. And I think today on the golf course, I heard somebody call you Bob, Robbie. So it's definitely stuck around. So he was that kind of guy. He was tough but fair, and he expected a lot out of all of his players. But he was very patient, and as I said, one of the most intelligent people that I've ever known. Challenged you to be the best person that you could possibly be. And I think the guys in this room have emulated that very, very well, and I've gotten to know even more about him through them, so I appreciate that. And I have to also give thanks to Coach Mayer for carrying on a great golf legacy here at IU, and I know my grandfather would be so proud of what you've done with our students, and not only just as athletes, but as academics, so thank you. And I think that on behalf of myself and everyone that's here to support me, I appreciate you, but we're also here to support IU Golf. So, and I can't tell you how many people have turned out for this, so I'm going to ask everyone that came here to support Coach Fitch tonight if you would stand up so that we can acknowledge you and all of your hard work and all of the things that you've done. So, golfers, please stand. Thank you so much, and go Hoosiers.